What is going on, Doom fans? Welcome. We got some things to talk about. Slayers, demons, everybody. Let's get in the comment section. Let's have a discussion together. But while we're having this discussion, please let's be open-minded to each other's situation, because I understand what it feels like to have a bias, right? Like I think we all have a bias, right? I'm a Slayer main, and I'm certain there's demon mains who are gonna be like, yes, nerf the Slayer, make demons stronger. And Slayers are like, no, nerf the demons, make Slayer stronger, right? Like, it makes sense, you know? It makes a lot of sense, because that's just how it is. Whenever you play something, you want it to succeed. But we got a lot of nerfing. We got a lot of nerfing and some changes. Fortunately, all these changes do not apply to every platform. Some of these changes only apply to specific platforms. And we're just going to kind of read them, and I'm just going to give my insight on them. This is no script. I don't do scripts, so if I start, you know, scattering everywhere and ranting, my bad. All right, so let's talk about the changes made for all platforms. There's only one change actually made for all platforms, and that is for the Slayer. They have reduced the damage that the lock-on rockets does. So initially it would do 300 damage a rocket, which will total out to 900 damage, because, you know, you got 3 rockets, so 3, 6, 900, right? But now they're reducing that to 200 damage a rocket, so that's a 300 damage reduction, ultimately causing all 3 rockets to make 600 damage. Now, originally when I saw this, I was like, I don't know. I'm not a really big fan of the lock-on rockets. I think that the detonation is way better, and I think there's a lot better tools than the lock-on rockets. I think that the ballista with almost anything is really good. I think the super shotgun to just regular rockets is actually pretty cool technique as well. I think that the full auto mod on the combat shotgun does not get enough attention. There's a lot of different tools that you can use outside of the rocket lock on that will do a lot. But you know what, even then, let's factor in the fact that you got quick switching, right? And quick switching can really change the way that anything really performs. Like a ballista by itself is not that powerful, right? Like, and the only reason why I say that is because if you were to sit in a pool of demons and only fire the ballista, not using any quick switching, that cooldown and the time it takes to get a good shot off is going to really hurt you, right? So you obviously have to use the quick switching to keep the speed going. And when you start factoring things like quick switching in, let's say you have your rocket lock on, right? Okay, you lock on your rocket. While the rockets are homing the target, you use your super shotgun and you just keep like hosing them down with it, right? As the rockets are just trailing the person. And it's like, now you're stacking damage, which is, that's the thing about Doom Eternal that a lot of Slayers don't get. That's kind of the purpose, right? You have to stack the damage, stack it. You don't want to just do this and then do this. You want to do like this with this and drop a grenade to add this while you're also flamethrowing to add this, right? Like you want to do a lot all at once. So, you know, some people, like I know my boy No Bad Times, he was not feeling this nerf to the Slayer. He thinks that this nerf is like bad. But in order to respect to No Bad Times, I just don't fully agree, just because of the fact that the Slayer can do so much. I've seen people become just puddles. The Slayer runs through people. He turns assholes into walk-in closets. It is crazy. Like, he's putting foot up ass all day. So you can't really just focus in on this one thing and just be like, oh, this is horrible, because no, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And I don't think that the lock-on rocket is even that popular. But ultimately, even if it was, who gives a fuck about popularity, right? The bottom line is this, is that even with this reduction, it does not stop other techniques that will still help this carry and be great. I don't think that this is like that bad of a nerf. 600 damage is still decent, and especially because it's going to basically be on par with the ballista. So imagine a lock-on shot switch to the ballista, that's 1200 damage right there. But for PC only, however, that will not be the case, because PC will be seeing a reduction in damage from the ballista. It went from 600 to 550. I still don't think that's a bad thing, though. No Bad Times also spoke about this. He said that it's a pretty noticeable reduction in damage, but I've seen really talented Slayers out there, and I think PC has a lot of them. PC has way better Slayers than console has right now. And I've seen, like, my boy to Matrix. Listen, I've seen some things this man does with that ballista, and it's not cool. All right, that's just not fair. That is just not fair, right? Because the fact that demons, again, let's try to be objective about this. Let's be open-minded. The demons, they have to actually be able to fight. You know, like if you come across a corner against a talented Slayer and he has this thing in his hand and literally, you know, it's doing 600 damage, right? Okay, now let's talk about the quick switching. You see, now it's a different ballpark because a lot of people will use the ballista and they'll quick switch to the super shotgun. Again, stacking damage, dropping grenades on top of it, flame belching on top of it, right? This is what talented Slayers will do. They'll use all their tools at their disposal. And that's going to cause a lot of damage in one sitting. So I know that it is a damage reduction, and I understand how it can seem a little unfair because any really weapon damage you do with a Slayer is very important, and I think that we need as much as we can get because number one, there's 2 demons, right? I think we need to consider that too from the demon's perspective because I know you guys are probably like, no, this is not fair, but understand something. As a Slayer, there's 2 of you guys. And not only is there 2 of you guys, but you guys can infinitely respawn because I've seen a lot of people play like really like keep outy and runny. Like they don't want to fight. They don't want to do anything. Their whole objective is just to run from the entire game. And what they do is they rely strictly on the spawns and they do little damage every here and there. And then whenever their buddy dies, the other one's nowhere to be found. You can't even find the guy. So for a Slayer, damage is super important. Like it's really important. But at the same time, guys, the Slayers, you guys gotta understand. The demons can't fight us because really good Slayers, and again, there's a lot of us, we're gonna melt, right? You got precision bolt ballista that's going to destroy. If they get too close, then you got ballista super shotgun, and that's also going to destroy. So that puts demons in a very odd position because they can't stay away and they can't get close because there's a lot of damage being done. And again, this is only a 50 damage reduction. This is not really that bad of a reduction. I mean, when you 50 damage, whenever you factor in everything, that's not that big of a deal. I still think that we're going to be able to do a lot of damage even with this reduction. It's not like it's taking it away from us. It's really like it's not that big of a deal, honestly. That's just how I feel. I mean, again, you land 2 shots with the ballista, right? The ballista alone before the nerf, and it was 1200 damage, right? So now it's not that, but the thing about it is that we're not just using that. I mean, you're using a ballista and something else, and those damages, again, they stack. So if you're quick switching between a ballista and a super shotgun, I think the super shotgun is 500 damage. So you're doing 600 to 500 to 600. Okay, now there's a new problem. You see what I'm saying? And then you wonder why Mancubus are being deleted. Because we got to think about the Mancubus force. You got to think about everything, right? If we're going to talk about balancing, we got to think about everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm no expert in balancing. I'm not at all. But I'm just saying, I can kind of understand. The Mancubus has literally no defense outside of smoke. And that's not really that helpful. Because if a smart Slayer, like, I mean, that's kind of like a surface level knowledge for like a high level Slayer, but if you memorize where the Mancubus is, the smoke doesn't really help. Like unless he summons something in front of him to kind of like help, you know, balance that out. But for the most part, if a Mancubus is just like sitting and he just smokes and you're already looking at him, he's not going to get too much further. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have any shield, he doesn't have a dash, he doesn't have anything. So this ballista shotgun, you know, insta swap meta is going to molest him. It's not even funny, you know. Even with pain elementals. Now you guys know I hate pain elementals. I don't like pain elementals. I don't. I hate them with passion. I hope they get nerfed to the ground. I hate pain elementals. So I can even like say even for them, when their shield goes down, it's not that big of a deal anymore, and that same combination can just destroy them. Absolutely. So I don't think that a 50 damage reduction is that big of a deal. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. But carrying on, this is a change for console only. We have the Revenant being nerfed. So basically they reduce the effectiveness of the upgrade of the Rocket Barrage. So that's okay. I can understand that. I think that the Rocket Barrage, it's definitely a crutch. But let's go more into it. I got some things to say about that too. They reduced the number of rockets from the upgrade from 20 to 24. It's only 4 projectiles less. It's not that big of a deal, right? That seems pretty fair. I'm not mad at that. Increases the cooldown with the upgrade from 10 seconds to 11 seconds. Now, that I'm on the fence about. Because my thing is this, right? It is only 1 second, right? Like these balances that they're doing, these patches, these changes, these fixes, it's not that serious. Like they're not huge leaps outside of the lock-on rocket, right? That's 300 damage reduction. But like, you know, everything else is like it's pretty generous. It's not that big. It's not going to change significantly. It's going to be a little change. You're going to notice it maybe, but it's not that bad, right? But the thing about I feel about the Revenant is that the Revenant is so easy to break up. Like, that's really how I feel. I feel like every time I fight a Revenant, or even when I play as the Revenant, on both sides of the script, me being a Slayer and a Demon, it's like the Revenant just dies. I mean, he's definitely a glass cannon, right? Like, that's his whole role. And I think that for that reason, he should play out that responsibility, right? He should definitely play out that responsibility, because if we're going to make his cooldown longer, and I mean, I guess, you know, again, it's only 1 second. It's not that big of a deal, but it's like, it's kind of his job. I think that his twin rockets, they don't really do too much. I don't really think so, especially given, again, how easy it is to break apart. Like, again, he's much like the Mancubus. He doesn't have any defense outside of his dash and his jetpacks, right? Like, you know, he has like a lot of getaway. But when that's all gone, no, you know, and he has a way smaller health pool than the Mancubus, so it's like he doesn't really have a lot of legs to stand on once, you know, everything is all said and done. If a Slayer just focuses a Revenant, the Revenant has to do everything in his power to get away, and if he can't, it's a problem, right? Now I understand too, when we think about the balancing of the demons, I also understand that we have to factor in the teamwork element. We have to think about that, because a lot of people are wanting the demons to be balanced for 1v1 situations, and that is not what this is. This is not supposed to be a 1v1 situation, right? So I get that, like, he shouldn't be just like a standalone thing where he can just be good by himself. But at the same time, I do believe that in those situations, whenever the Slayer is focusing him and it turns into that, I mean, he has to, I think he has to have something to rely on. And for me, the Rocket Barrage can be used offensively and defensively, right? Because you can go into your aggression with it, but furthermore, you can use it for keep out. If he's thirsting you and you need him off of you, I mean, that Rocket Barrage is way more useful than, you know, I think a lot of people actually understand. It can be used for a lot of reasons. But again, it's only 1 second, so I'm not too mad. Everything else seems fair, and we still have Acrobat, right? So that's dope. Moving on, Pain Elemental also received one nerf, and that is that their dash got an increase. I'm sorry, it got increased from 6 seconds to 8 seconds, and I agree completely. My thing about the Pain Elemental and how I feel about him is that he's very obnoxious for the wrong reasons, in my opinion, right? So let's take it, for example, his shield. I do understand that they already nerfed his shield. They gave him a 1 second longer cooldown on his shield, but that shield still comes up pretty frequently. He has haste and he has summons, right? He can move around freely. He can fly, he can go here, he can go there. He can be anywhere at all, right? And a lot of the times what the Pain Elemental will do is pretty much prolong matches. He's much like the Archvile. He makes matches very fucking long because he can be anywhere. He can be anywhere. Like, there's a lot of times I'll be playing and I don't know where the Pain Elemental is whenever he's last alive, and I have like 20 seconds to find him, and he's like in the air in some corner that you would never think to look in, like he's a fucking collectible or something. Like, what are you doing up there? Get down, get down, right? Like, you can't find him, and it becomes very frustrating because when you do find him, now he's shielded and he can shoot through his shield, then he can launch a shield at you, and then he can just disengage and just be gone, right? And then not only that, but he has such a huge health bar. Like, yes, he can be broken down pretty easy without a shield, but still, he has a lot of health. And if he goes bigger bar, problems, right? So I do agree with this. I'm not against this at all. I'm sure some Pain Elemental mains are gonna be mad, but again, let's think about this objectively. You as a Pain Elemental know what you do, and you know what you rely on, and you know for a fact sometimes that shit can be annoying. It can be really annoying. So I think that the Pain Elemental is annoying for the wrong reasons, and I'm in favor of this. So all in all, with our updates for battle mode, I'm not really too against anything at all. I only have a small disagreement with the Revenant, but again, it's not that big of a deal. I think everything that was changed here outside of the rocket, and I guess also the Pain Elemental, that was a pretty significant increase. 2 seconds, that can really change a lot. But everything else to me seems pretty fair. I don't think there's going to be too many problems, and I think that you guys should still feel pretty at home from what we've been used to so far. So you guys, what you guys think below in the comment section. I would love to have a discussion with you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing my boy Joseph because I know he has like a whole Bible prepared right now. He's he's been typing this shit since before the update even came out. But yeah, it's been your boy Glock. Thank you guys for giving me the time of the day. God bless you guys. And again, let's have a discussion. Let's try to keep it mature, guys. None of the like childish insults and bullshit. Let's just try to talk as a community. And yeah, thank you guys again for giving me the time of day. If you haven't subscribed already, that's up, maybe, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Drop that sub. I got more content coming from Doom. If you like the video, drop a like, and if you don't, go ahead and drop a dislike. That's gonna happen anyway. Have a wonderful day, man. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.